What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bleeding BNG. Probably our most somber episode in our 4-year history. To give you a timestamp as I do for all of my episodes, today is Sunday, January 26, 2025. It's about 10 p.m. And the Washington Commanders are about 3.5 hours removed from getting belt to ass put to them by the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game. This might be the shortest episode of all time because I honestly don't want to do this episode because I'm miserable. I'm miserable. And as I've gotten older, right, I vowed to not let my sports fandom, impact different aspects of my life, not hold on to wins and losses too much because at the end of the day, it is a football game. But I got caught in too deep with this team. I genuinely love the 2024 Washington Commanders. And for that magical season that we just experienced to come to an end in such a piss porous way, in such a shitty way, it has me feeling like all different type of emotions if I'm being 100% honest with you. I might have shed some tears today. Because not to be morbid, but this is the first NFC Championship game that we made in the last 33 years, right? In 33 years, I'll be 62 if I make it there, God willing. So this isn't guaranteed. It isn't guaranteed at all. And you got to strike while the iron's hot. And we just simply didn't do that today. We just simply didn't do that today. Not here to yell, even though I am ticked off. Not here to rant, even though there's plenty of things to rant about, whether it be the 4 turnovers, whether it be our skill position players pussyfooting in the open field, running slow as molasses in the open field, whether it be Jeremy Chin picking the finest day to play his worst game of the season, whether it be Deron Payne pussyfooting and being rude, inactive before the game, while we watching Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson out there putting themselves through fucking war and then some, wearing knee braces, back braces, and then some. But one of our $20 million defensive tackles has to miss a game against a historic Russian offense. I don't know what, and I don't want to be too harsh today because y'all know y'all come to Bleeding BNG for the most raw, uncut, and unfiltered analysis on your Washington Commanders. And honestly, before we get too deep into this video, be sure to comment, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. I actually hit 2,000 subscribers over the last week. And that's such a beautiful milestone to hit at the end of the season. And honestly, let's see if we can hit 3,000 subscribers before the beginning of the next season because this content not going to stop. We know that the NFL is a 12-month sport. Shit, the combine is in a couple of weeks. And while I'm not here to be, introspective today or reflective today and look back on what was a magical season because there is a game to talk about, I can take some solace in knowing that not only is this going to be the shortest offseason in my life, being that we played so deep into the playoffs, but this should honestly be the most exciting offseason of my life as well. Because while I was getting ticked off that, we were in the playoffs playing in January and people were still associating us with the term house money, and while that never sat well with me, if I can look back and sit back and remember where we were in August, nobody expected us to be here. We were projected to have 6.5 wins by the sports books. We ended up with 14. Our most successful season in 33 years, but I can honestly say that the lights look too bright for us today. It looked like we had an organization that hadn't been on that stage in 33 years. And it looked like the Philadelphia Eagles are used to being on that stage, which they are. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Going to your second Super Bowl in 3 years. That's an amazing achievement. And I've said all week that if you line them up 1 through 53, the Philadelphia Eagles have a far superior roster. They've been doing this for a couple of years now. A.J. Brown is in his third year as a Philadelphia Eagle. I think Jalen Hurts is in his fourth year starting as a Philadelphia Eagle. Like they have a culture that's like been sustained, right? And they're used to being on this stage. Even if you look in the 21st century, right? I think they've been to more NFC championships than any other franchise, and any other NFC franchise. And it showed today. Like they're used to being on this stage, and we threw up all over ourselves. Whether it be Luke McCaffrey pussyfooting from the opening kickoff, which I honestly knew, even though I tried to keep my head up high and keep faith in my team. I knew from that opening kick that we was going to lose that game. I'll be 100% honest. Go back and look at that opening kick and look at how Luke McCaffrey was pussyfooting on that opening kickoff. Luke McCaffrey ain't want to be out there today. I don't know if them goons from Philly got into his head talking to him in the stands, but boy was shook from the jump. Boy was shook from the jump. And guess what? He ain't even fumble on the kick return like Jeremy McNichols did. The lights was too big for everybody except Jaden Daniels. The lights was too big for everybody except Jaden Daniels. And the only reason that I thought that we had a chance, because as I've said before, Philadelphia's roster is clearly superior, and they showed it today. We got fucking dog walked in the trenches. We got fucking dog walked in the trenches. And that's ultimately what this game came down to. Howie Roseman that had the opportunity to cook up them trenches, got them Georgia boys, got Jordan Mailata big ass out there mauling people. And we out there with a fucking Nick Allegretti and an Andrew Wiley. And Deron Payne not playing because his pinky hurt. That's what we dealing with on our trenches. And that's ultimately what the game came down to. Because like I said, 1 through 53, they way better than us. But the reason that I thought that we had a chance in this game is because of number 5. That guy right there. Is because of number 5. And once again today, in a game where everybody else on that roster threw up on themselves, number 5 showed that the lights are never too bright for him. I told you before, we got Black Brady, and I still believe that, even though we fell short again in the ring, we got Michael Jordan of the NBA. And honestly, even though I'm depressed, I'm not even gonna lie, and that's not hyperbole. I'm depressed. For such a high that I've been on this season, this is the lowest of lows. Because like I told y'all, this is uncharted territory for us. I ain't never cared about a game of this magnitude when my franchise was concerned. And for us to lose it, yeah, I'm depressed. No other way to put it. No other way to put it. But knowing that I got number 5 in the burgundy and gold makes me so excited for next season. Because honestly, I told you, this day, even though I am depressed, this day brought me to appreciating Jaden Daniels even more. Because as I've said early in the season, and I've said over the course of the season, elite quarterback play is the greatest cologne to a roster that is inept, or a roster that's inadequate, or a roster that has holes. And Jaden Daniels provided elite quarterback play week in and week out for the 2024 Washington Commanders, which culminated in the greatest rookie season of all time. And while he gave you glimpses of elite quarterback play today, even Jaden Daniels couldn't help that fucking roster. Even Jalen Daniels couldn't help what the rest of the roster did today, throwing up all over themselves. He really carried this team, this organization on his back as a rookie. And that's why I'm not taking any quarterback over him. That's why even though Jalen Hurts, Shamar Moore, Boris Kojo played a decent game today, he still pales in the comparison to my guy. And our roster, the Washington Commanders roster, pales in comparison to the Philadelphia Eagles roster. That shit was evident today. They got a generational, historic top 10 running back in Saquon Barkley. Oh my God. Joe Shane, I'm going to beat the shit out you, bro. Matter of fact, let me stop sending out threats because if y'all notice, I ain't been tweeting since about 4 p.m. I'm locked out my Twitter right now. I'm locked out my X account right now. Because I told the NFL officiating Twitter X handle that I was going to slap the shit out of them. And they locked me out of my Twitter account. Because while the refs weren't going to win us this game, it's a clear reason why the NFL had Sean Hockley on this call today. Where before this game, the Eagles were 6-0 in games with Sean Hockley referee. Well, guess what? 7-0 was inevitable. Whether it be the 2 missed holding calls on Saquon, on Frankie Louvu, and on Johnny Newton on the same drive, which resulted in a Philadelphia Eagle touchdown. Whether it be the bullshit late hit out of bounds, where we know that fucking Saquon's a fucking Tasmanian devil that can stop on the dime. And we over here giving him sympathy calls against 122-pound Mikey Sammerstill. What the fuck? And no, the refs weren't going to win us this game today. But they definitely was going to make sure that the Philadelphia Eagles won this game today. But I ain't here to get on the refs, man. Y'all know what it was. Y'all know what it is. I'm here to talk about this game. Man, this shit hurt. I ain't even about to lie to you. Because it was such a magical season. I remember after, week 6, I think it was, after the Baltimore Ravens game. When we fell to 4-2, I said Adam Peters needed to go out and get a corner before we waste the season. And he felt my sentiments exactly. He went out a couple weeks later and got Marshawn Lattimore. Just turns out that Marshawn Lattimore was not that guy, pal. Just turns out that Marshawn Lattimore was not that. Marshawn Lattimore is a fucking lemon. Marshawn Lattimore is fucking washed. Marshawn Lattimore left his fucking hamstring in New Orleans. His hamstring somewhere on Bourbon Street eating baguettes right now, getting ready for the Super Bowl while he up here in the DMV. While he up here in Philly trying to fight because he getting cooked. Marshawn Lattimore washed at 28. Do y'all realize Marshawn Lattimore was in the same recruiting class at Ohio State as Terry McLaurin? And we over here, and rightfully so, Terry the savior of the franchise. The face of the franchise. And we still expect elite production from Terry McLaurin, even though he's about 29 years old. Marshawn Lattimore younger than Terry McLaurin, and he washed already. Not mad at Adam Peters for making the move. But Marshawn Lattimore is not showing you anything that shows you that he was worthy of the draft pedigree and the draft picks that we gave up for him, the draft capital that we gave up for him. No, the New Orleans Saints not throwing at him at all because they know that he knows their playbook didn't justify that trade. Getting cooked by A.J. Brown out there on one leg. Then they try to save you. They try to protect you and don't have you travel with A.J. Brown. Then Devontae Smith out there giving you some too. Marshawn Lattimore, a fucking lemon. And I remember a couple weeks until when, they realized that fucking hamstring was cooked. And news and reports were coming out that, Adam Peters is really just, You know, he's not really making his move for 2024 as much as he's making it for 2025. Yeah, that was the good cope. That was the good cope. Because ain't nothing happening in 2025 other than Marshall Lattimore being another year older and another step slower. He can't run anymore. He can't. And I don't know if a full offseason going to help that hamstring. If you getting cooked by and getting stacked by A.J. Brown, who's not a burner by any means, and who's playing on a fucking peg leg. Jaden Daniels was the greatest cologne in NFL history, be 100% honest. We might be the worst roster to make an NFC Championship game since the merger. And it showed today. Playoff Diami was exactly that. Playoff Diami until today. Because he ain't do shit in the regular season for about the fourth year in a row. Then he gave us a good 2 weeks. I don't know what the fuck I don't know what the fuck it got into him the last 2 weeks. I ain't even about to speculate. He might have to take a drug test if we being 100% honest, because he was back to his old ways, fumbling the ball today. Austin Eckler with his low ass hands fumbling the ball today. There was nobody outside Terry McLaurin taking that one slant to the house that made a play for Jaden Daniels today. I told y'all, in order for us to win a game, he has to be the best player on the field on both teams. He has to be the best player out of all 106 active players on that game. No, I think it's something inactive. So it was like 46. All 92 active players during that game. And he did that 14 times this season. And honestly, outside of Saquon Barkley, he might have been the best player on the field today. Because the way we was getting fucking dog walked in the trenches, you would have thought we would have put up 0 points, including the turnovers. Because at the end of the day, while Jaden Daniels is still amazing, he's still throwing passes to De'Ami Brown and Olamide Zaccheaus and the ghost of Jamison Crowder. The roster didn't compare, if we being 100% honest. Like, they didn't. They didn't. And I'm just talking about the wide receiver room, but I don't even think it's that much of a difference in between us. Because they got Jahan Dotson over there who's fucking ass, who had the same amount of catches and yards as me today. Over there tweeting. That's what's making this shit even more miserable. He over there acting like he really did something. Fucking Jahan Dotson. Nigga out there just to run whip motions. It ain't even that's probably low on the totem pole of the gaps in between the positions on the roster. Going back to the trenches, bruh. Jalen Carter's like a baby rhino out there just punching niggas in the face, dropping them like Mike Tyson in his prime, whipping ass, jumping over land blocks. And while Jonathan Allen had his best 3-game stretch that I've seen him have in a couple of years, honestly, since like 2021. He ain't that. He ain't number 98 on the Philadelphia Eagles. Never was. That's a game record right there. Even if he killed people. He killed people on and off the football field. And I'm not justifying it. But goddamn. What I would do to have one of those game records on the defense. Because we don't have one. Frankie Louisville's an amazing player. I don't know if he's a game record. Had an amazing game today. Even with his amazing game, we still getting ran down our fucking throats. No Diddy. This is tough, y'all. I ain't gonna lie, this is tough. This is a tough one to take. knowing that I ain't gonna see Jalen Daniels play football for about 7.5 months. Got these fake fans, fake Philadelphia Eagle fans in the DMV over here trolling me, hitting my phone, and I'm liable to crash out at any moment. I told you I can't tweet, so I'm about to just get my shit off in text messages talking shit back. Because this is rough. This is rough. I'm out here getting trolled. They pulling up old tweets. When I was trolling Eagle fans, I can't even reply to them. So y'all know this is probably my worst day ever, to be 100% honest. I'm really thinking about calling out of work tomorrow. I think I'm going to call out of work tomorrow. I need a day to recover. Because while today is not the time that, like I said, it ain't the time to be introspective and reflective. We got 55 points put on our head. Shit look like a fucking high school basketball score. They beat us by more points than we scored. Like that is unacceptable. I'm not over here to praise that today. And we could talk about the 24 season some point later down the line. That's another video. Run the views up on that video when we get to it. But when you can't run the ball and you can't stop the run, you can't expect to win in January. Y'all's guy, B-Rob, was back to being Brian today. And I can't wait till Brian's not the starting running back on my team anymore. And I know this might be a hot take. And I know, all those 1960 stick to the trenches. I told you, yeah, we got our asses whooped in the trenches today. We did. But that's what free agency's for. I think, and this, like I said, it might be a hot take. I think RB1 might be our biggest draft need. Out of all the things that we need a couple linemen, we need a cornerback. I'm not foolish to all of that. We do need to build in the trenches. Today was evident of that. But I can't have Brian plotting out that bitch Robinson doing anything other than taking goal line carries from the 2-yard line for my team anymore. I'm tired of him running into people's backs, bro. And it's like, everybody else is finally waking up to it. I've been saying it since October. Brian Robinson has a trend of falling off in the second half of the year. Look at his career. Look at the course of his 3-year career. Look at the trend of him not doing shit in November and December. But we think that's going to change next year? That's the difference in the game. Yeah, the trenches are what they are, right? We knew that already. We knew that that the Eagles had one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. And guess what? The Lions did too. And we put belt the ass to them last week. But when my team is trotting out Brian Robinson Jr. at running back, and the Philadelphia Eagles are trotting out Saquon Barkley at running back, that's the difference in the game right there. Because guess what? It shows you that the Eagles they have playmakers that are capable of hitting their head on the goalpost at any time. But you need in today's NFL. Them 18 play drives, yeah, I know we've done it. That's not going to win you games week in and week out. You need a couple 40 and 50-yard bombs. We ain't complete a ball over 20 yards today. That wasn't Jay fault. Dudes wasn't getting open downfield. So we need a receiver too. T. Higgins, come on down. We need a lot. Need some run stuffing defensive tackles, and not two $20 million defensive tackles that allow the third worst rushing defense in the NFL. How the fuck does that work? Then when we need you in the biggest game, my knee hurt, my pinky hurt. Even though Landon Dickerson out there walking with a limp like a pimp named Slimback trying to play. Yeah, man, this is tough. I'm about to get up out of here before I say something I don't mean. Long off season ahead. Not really though. Like I said, this is the shortest offseason of our lives. The combine is in a couple of weeks. The draft is in about 3 months. We'll be picking late in the draft, but it's an important draft for us because while I did fall in love with the 2024 Washington Commanders, I'm not opposed, and honestly, I'm expecting another huge roster turnover like we did during the 2024 offseason. Maybe not as drastic, but I'm expecting about a 25 to 30% turnover. And some of those guys that we fell in love with this year over the course of this year might not be Washington Commanders going into the future. It just is what it is. But with all the cap space we got, all the draft capital that we got, I think Adam Peters, this is really like his time to cook. Because the foundation is set. The culture is set. Now it's time to get some impact players in here. Because you got the ultimate impact player at the quarterback position on a rookie contract. So if now's not the time to splurge, when is it? Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Damn, this one hurt. I ain't about to lie. This shit hurt. Yeah, let me get up out of here, man. That'll do it for this episode of Bleeding Me and G. Thank you guys for an amazing season. Like I said before the game, no matter what happened, this was the greatest season of my life. And even if we won the Super Bowl, I would have been sad because I just simply didn't want this season to end. And I wouldn't have wanted to spend it with anybody else other than you guys, my subscribers, my social media supporters, because this is honestly the most viral that we've gone, the most growth that we've gotten for the channel over the course of our 4 years, and we can only go up from here. Yeah. So get you guys some rest, but while you resting, go ahead, hit that subscribe button so you're not missing any content because we still pushing it out because we know the NFL is a 12-month sport. Thank you guys for tuning in all season to Bleeding B&G. We not going anywhere though. Content coming soon. Reaction video coming tomorrow. Draft content coming soon. But yeah, y'all might have to wait till we get back from Cancun. As always, if you're checking us out on audio-only platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please leave a rating, please leave a review. That's how we finesse these algorithms so that when you're searching anything Bleeding B&G, anything Washington Commanders, Bleeding B&G is that #1 content hub that pops up in your search bar. If you're not following us on social media, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but you need to go ahead and do that now. It's right there. Y'all get it. It's right there in that corner. It's right there in that. Not that corner. That corner. It's right there in that corner at Bleeding B&G. The spell is a bit different on Instagram at X. On Instagram, it's at Bleeding B&G, BLEEDING B&G, and on X, it's at Bleeding B&G, BLEEDIN B&G. So there's only one G in our X handle. Thank you guys for an amazing season. I love all y'all Philadelphia Eagle fans. I don't really like Dallas Cowboy fans. Giants fans, they're a little too sedity to me. But yeah, shout out to Philadelphia Eagle fans, even though y'all about to get that belt to ass to y'all by Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I'm not watching that shit though. I'm letting y'all know now I'm not watching the Super Bowl. Thank y'all for tuning in all season. Commander Stunner checking out for the 2024 season. I'll check in on y'all on the flip side. Peace.